Okay, part two had some issues. Here's the second part. So part two, remember again, we're talking about these end behaviors. Now, the order here is kind of funky. Typically in the math world, we talk about as x goes someplace, f of x goes someplace. Okay, so you will see me do these in the opposite order because honestly, that's the better way to do it. Because I'm thinking about as I go in the x direction, which way am I going? Okay, we don't want to think about it as an output to input. We want to think about it as an input to output. Okay, so you're going to see me do these opposite. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so starting out with these, we want to talk about end behavior. I want to make sure first and foremost, first step every time, check and make sure that you're in standard form. So the numbers need to go down, 4, 2, 1. Okay, skip 3, that's fine. I'm in standard form. My leading exponent, or my degree of this polynomial, is 4, so it's even. Okay, that gets rid of these top two. I'm now looking at these bottom two. Okay, so it's either facing up or it's facing down. I know that this is going to be facing down because my leading coefficient is negative. Okay, so my graph is going to look something like this, where something happens in the middle here. I don't know what it is, but again, we're looking at the end behavior. I want to know what happens in the ends. Okay, so as I go left, so as x approaches negative infinity, I am going down to negative infinity. As I go to the right, so as x goes to positive infinity, I am also going down to negative infinity. Okay, so again, the book does it backwards, and that's fine. But again, usually we think about inputs giving us outputs. Okay, which is why you'll see me do it this way. It's a lot easier for students to see. As I'm going left, I go down. As I go left, I go down. As I go right, I go down. Sorry, my camera's reversed. Um, okay, so quick rehash of looking at evaluating. Again, on these, just take them, throw them in Desmos. Let Desmos do the work for you. You got y equals, or f of x, it'll do the same thing, negative x cubed plus 3x squared plus 9. Okay, now I'm not actually going to precise this. Okay, so looking at this, it's asking me to evaluate at 4. Now again, I could follow this and try to find 4. That's going to be a pain. So let's just make it into a table and then add a couple more lines. 4 is at negative 7. Okay, and that's really all you need to do on these. Now again, let's talk about end behavior on this one. So I'm in standard form. I am now odd. Remember, odds look something like a linear, so either this or this. This one is positive, so it's going to be this first one. It's not going to be the second one. Thank you. There we go. So as I go left, so as x goes to negative infinity, I am also going to negative infinity. F of x is also going to negative infinity. As I go right, as I go to positive infinity, f of x also goes to positive infinity. Remember, f of x is just the same thing as like a y. Okay. Now, what we're going to be doing today for graphing. So anytime I ask you to graph today, just go ahead and pull open Desmos, let it do the work for you. Okay. Now, when we graph, we're gonna create a table of values, x and y. Okay, and I'm not going to put numbers here yet because I need to see what that graph looks like first and figure out where those numbers, what numbers I should use. Okay, so I'm going to start. I'm going to graph this. So negative x to the third plus x squared plus 3x minus 3. Okay, so looking at this, I can probably come in and honestly, so what you want to do here is you want to look and see kind of where those dots are. Okay, notice how if I zoom out, all my dots are still like right here. I can go out forever and it's not going to change that. All my dots are right in this area, meaning all the important information is kind of in that same area. Okay, so anything between probably about -3, even -2 would probably be fine, all the way up to about -3 again, right? Because those dots really stop after those points. Okay, so when I graph this, or when I do a table, I am going to need -3. So I am going to need to add -3 probably, and then I'm probably going to want to go down to 3. Okay, now it's not in the wrong order here. Let's make sure we put it in the right order on ours. So I'm going to go all the way from -3 to +3. And then again, make sure we're putting in the right order. So 24, 3, -4, 0, -1, 24. Or sorry, 0, -1, -12. No, I'm sorry. -3, 0, -1, -12. Okay. And then I would take this and I would plot those points and graph it. Okay. And again, it looked something like this. Okay. Making sure to plot these points. Okay. Now, again, we may not need this one on the ends here because they're kind of far out there. These ones really kind of describe what's going on, and we'd probably be fine with just -2 to 2. But it's good to go ahead and have them on the table and go and not need them later. Again, drawing 24 would not be really conducive here. Okay, now this is where it's a little tricky, so pay close attention on these ones. Okay, so I've got places where it's increasing, I've got places where it's decreasing, I've got places where it's positive, and I've got places where it's negative. Okay, well, for something to go from positive to negative, think about that for a second. If I go from positive somewhere up here to somewhere down here, we're going to look at this more later, but if we go from up here to down here, assuming I have a line, I had to cross 0 at some point. So because I had to cross 0 at some point, I have a 0 there. So what I want to do is I want to kind of look at that and I want to say, okay, well, at -2, or between -2 and 3, I am positive. So my graph is somewhere up here, somewhere up there. And then again at greater than 5. Well, between 3 and 5, though, I'm down here. So between 3 and 5, I'm down here somewhere. At 5, I'm up here. And before 2, between -2 and 3, I'm here somewhere. Okay, so I can already kind of see what's going on here. What these are is these are what we call our x-intercepts, right? Because I went from negative to positive from the 2. I then went from positive to negative at 3. I then went positive again at 5. Okay, now those give me my x-intercepts, and I find it easier to do the x-intercepts first. After I do that, I need to think about, okay, where is it increasing, where is it decreasing? Okay, well, when x is less than 0, it's decreasing. So all over here, it's decreasing. So I'm going to start here, I'm going to come up, I'm going to hit 0. At 0, I start going down. Between 0 and 4, I am decreasing. So I'm coming back down until I hit 4. And then I start increasing again when x is greater than 4. So I go back up. Okay, so it's kind of, and again, we're not looking for perfection here. This may go up a little bit more, this may go down a little bit more, or not, or vice versa. But the idea here is we're doing a sketch that has these characteristics. So first, go in, find your zeros, and then kind of create that graph based on where it's increasing, where it's decreasing. You're not going to see a ton of these, but they are kind of important to know how to do. Okay. We're going to skip this one now for time's sake. I may make an additional video later, but the idea here is that you would graph this. Again, graphing calculator. Come on, pen. There we go. Graphing calculator. Let's use our graphing calculator. Use Desmos. So you would put this in Desmos and then look at the graph and describe it. Again, for time's sake, because I know this video is getting a little long, I want to go ahead and skip it for now. Okay, so on these ones, do the same thing that we did earlier with here. Okay, take it to Desmos. You're going to sketch a quick graph. Now, looking at this, I can see that I have a fourth degree, so it's even and it's positive. So if I was just doing a sketch on this one, I would know it would look something like this. Okay, because it's positive, so it's opening up. Okay, now it does say to graph, not to sketch, so I do need to create that table of values for this problem. Okay, now again, let's put this in standard form. Sorry, the negative is with the x. Okay, this one's already in standard form, so I would just graph this and make a table. Okay, please make sure that you are coming in for help if you need it on RTF Fridays, either via Zoom or in person. I will be sending out emails out starting very soon to make sure that people are getting the extra help they need. Please don't make it mandatory. Please show up when you're needing it. Again, I want to treat you like college students, older, young adults. Please make sure that you're respecting that. Okay, have a great day. Talk to you later.